What's going on, people, and welcome to Man Knows Football. You're here with myself, Guni, for the first of two uploads of the evening. Obviously, this one is the post-match reaction to Chelsea's 1-0 loss at Stamford Bridge against Manchester City in the Premier League. A desperate game that we needed to win, but one also that Manchester City needed to win to really keep their title hopes alive and not to lose any more ground on Arsenal. But before obviously I get into the content, make sure you do these things for me. Smash that subscribe button. We are trying to get up to 15k so we can start the road to 20,000 subscribers, people. Smash that like button to get us up in the algorithm. Also, leave your thoughts down there in the comments as well. So, Chelsea 0, Manchester City 1. And the first thing that I'm going to say, this performance, although we lost, although we got nothing, and we're still continuing this bad run of form, we have to acknowledge several things. First of all, Manchester City are current champions of England, and they're going for their third title in a row. So that just goes to show that the team that we played today is a top quality team. But that's just me stating the obvious. Most of you that are watching already know this. But the second thing that I also want to point out is that today was one of the more positive performances that I have seen over the past few weeks. Now, earlier on Twitter, I was interacting with some of you, asking the Chelsea fans how you lot feel about the game today. Nobody was really optimistic, and I was just saying, listen, man, it would be a very Chelsea thing if we were to put in a performance today and somehow sneak a result. And we could have actually done that. We had opportunities to win the game. We had even opportunities to keep it at 0-0. But unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. But today, what I was hoping for, City not sitting back and that working in our favour. And we did see that particularly in the first half. City weren't really trying to pin us back as much in the first half. So they were giving us a bit more freedom to play, to come forward. We were doing pretty well. And listen, the first thing that I will say is obviously in that lineup, we had no Jorginho, no Mason Mount. I'll start off by commenting on that. Look at the difference when Jorginho is not in that midfield. Look at the amount of balance and mobility and athleticism that we have. We can actually compete without feeling like we are a man down in that midfield, and we saw that today. Dennis Zakaria, for me, had an excellent game. Today, by far, was easily his best game. In terms of his ball recoveries, his ball progression as well. He showed some press resistance as well. So now that he's getting a run of games, we're starting to see him play with some confidence. But this is a guy that looks like he's built for the Premier League, an actual natural number 6. So I expect him to come in and do a decent job. But is he the long-term answer for Chelsea? I'm still seeing shouts for him being a long-term solution. For me, it's not. His injury record, we need to move away from injury-prone players. He can be of a good use this season, definitely. But in terms of long-term and keeping him at the club, I'm not really a fan of that. But he had a really good game today, in my honest opinion. And Chelsea, they didn't really let me down. In terms of progressing the ball a little bit quicker today, we were good. Kovacic, I thought, done all right. But it's always the final ball that lets Kovacic down. He's almost there, man. He's almost there. I've said several times that Kovacic is a world-class player. I'm actually going to say that I believe he's the tier below that, because if he was to be more consistent with his final third balls and all that, that's when I'd be able to say, yes, this is a world-class midfielder. But the inconsistency is a bit much. But everything else, I feel he was getting it right. Barred a few times that he lost possession a little cheaply, in my opinion. But when you're playing that deep, sometimes those things happen. When you take those kind of risks, when you're relying on a player like Kovacic, sometimes those things happen. We played in a 4-3-3. We weren't really switching it up too much. Defended in a 4-3-3 as well. And we looked good. But unfortunately in the game, Hospital FC, aka Chelsea, we got injuries yet again. The first one came to Raheem Sterling. He was not able to continue the game. Unfortunately, he was subbed off. Christian Pulisic as well. He was subbed off after an injury. And it was actually a world-class challenge from John Stones. We've definitely got to give it to him. Beautiful bit of play from Chelsea. Like I said, that first half, Kai Havertz threading Pulisic in with the through ball. Had John Stones not got to that, that definitely would have been 1-0 to Chelsea, and perhaps we would have been looking at a different game. But he did get to it. He got the ball. It was a quality tackle, but he got a bit of the player. And as you know, Christian Pulisic, especially in his ankles, can be quite fragile. And unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to play. But I want to talk about Kai Havertz, because what I saw from him today reminded me of shades of during his positive times with Frank Lampard and some of the Bayer Leverkusen performances that got him this move to Chelsea in the first place. Kai Havertz getting involved in play from deep looks brilliant. In terms of linking up play, being that third option in that triangle as well and making himself available, I thought he done excellent today. I thought 100% he done excellent. My only frustration with Kai Havertz is that while Aubameyang was on the pitch, he was making the right runs. But Kai was not feeding him or taking the risks with those through balls, man. There was one opportunity where Kai was in our half. Aubameyang was making a run. He really could have just chipped that ball over the top, and Aubameyang could have been one-on-one, and you never know what could have happened from there. I want him to take a bit more risk, but I am a fan of him dropping deeper into that midfield position, adding an extra body there. He seems to be good. What I like about him is that he doesn't hold the ball too much in that midfield when he does that, when he doesn't need to. He does come back. He does pick his pass pretty quick, and he does try to advance the game forward. From a defensive standpoint, I thought we done well. Cucurella, who got a lot of stick because of the goal in the second half, obviously we're going to come on to. I thought he was good in the first half. I thought the majority of the team in the first half done well. It was clear that Pep needed changes. At half-time, Pep Guardiola did make changes, and you could see off the bat that Manchester City, they came out, they put a lot more pressure on us. The changes that they made, they were able to pin us into our own half a hell of a lot more, commit a lot more bodies forward, something that I wish Chelsea would do. When they were getting bodies forward, they were having 4 or 5 players in the box, something that we don't really see from us. At most, we'll probably have like 3 players, maybe 4 sometimes, but these guys are 5, 6, 7 players in the box that are ready, that are hungry to try and get that opportunity. Manchester City were really putting pressure on us, but we were dealing with it well. We were dealing with the physicality in the middle. We had so much balance. We looked like a team that was working cohesively. Usually with Jorginho, again, no disrespect to him, his physicality is a huge bottleneck on our team, but everybody pulling in the right direction, it did work out. Now, what I'm going to talk about is Graham Potter's substitutions. Now, obviously, with Pulisic getting injured, this is what confused me. Chukwuemeka did come on, yes, and I thought he done all right today. I thought all of the youth players that came on today done all right. But I felt that a sub that would have made a little bit more sense would have been Omari. It would have been more of a like-for-like replacement. Omari naturally is the winger. I felt Chukwuemeka looked a little uncomfortable when he first came on out wide there. Obviously, he did get the opportunity in that first half where he hit the post, took the deflection, but still positive stuff from him. Did take the deflection, but I feel like had you gone with Omari there, it would have been a little bit more of a natural position for him. I'm not saying that Chuk shouldn't have come on, because he done well when he did, but I think that was a bit of an odd substitution. But after that, throughout the second half, I thought the substitutions were brave, and I thought they were the correct substitutions. But it's back to the second half. Manchester City really were pinning us in, you know, getting influential players on the ball. De Bruyne, for me, not one of his best performances. But when Grealish and Mahrez came on, you could see clearly that the game had also changed even further. It was actually those 2 players that came on and changed the game for Manchester City. And we're going to talk about that goal. Lovely pass there from Jack Grealish. But Kepa, if you're coming out for that, you have got to claim that. 1000%. The fact that you let that slide across you now makes me think twice with Cucurella. Was it really his fault, or was the keeper supposed to deal with that? Was Cucurella shocked at the fact that Kepa weren't dealing with that? Because when you look at that, Kepa, man, and this is why you can't keep this guy, who put several good performances in the big games that matter, where we're playing so well and we're giving 100%. One momentary lapse and that's it, game over. And we've seen it so many times with Kepa. He is not a long-term solution. This is why I said, despite this guy's form, I want him to play with good form. I want his stocks to be up high, so somehow we can get rid of him. His wages are so high that he's got to stay at the club, but we've got to get him to convince another team 100% to leave this club, because we can't be going into games with this guy as our first choice goalkeeper. Next season, we've definitely got to switch it up. Please, a bid for Diogo Costa at Porto, man. honestly, while it's January, Chelsea, take advantage of it. Manchester United can't act. Several other teams can't act. Try and get a deal done for the summer. Diogo Costa is a goalkeeper that covers so many great attributes, man, and we could do with a goalkeeper like him. But I kept a mistake. Cucurella, you know, really and truly, for being honest, he should have got across his man. Mahrez should have never got in front of him there. Shocking defending. All up until then, I thought Cucurella had done okay. But not the best goal to concede. Again, moment of a concentration lapses that happened with Chelsea. So normal, man. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. And I felt bad for the defence. Koulibaly, who I was cussing in the last game, had a much better game. Thiago Silva, as normal. Rolls Royce. To be fair on Azpilicueta, I thought he done all right as well. Didn't get cooked as much as I expected him to. Lasted the game as well, man. 100%. I thought he done good. So fair play to Captain Azpi. But unfortunately, we just weren't able to get that result. Later on in the game, you saw some of the youth players come on that we've been asking for. Lewis Hall, Omari Hutchinson comes on as well. So on the pitch right now, you've got Omari Hutchinson, Lewis Hall, Carney Chukwuemeka as well. So you've got 3 youth players, under 23 players on the pitch. And I feel that when they came on, they impressed. Conor Gallagher also came on too. Quite a few eyebrows were raised when he did come on, but I thought he done well. I thought he added extra intensity in that Chelsea team. I thought he pressed really well. But for me, Lewis Hall, I thought he done well on that left-hand side. He's actually knocking on the door. For me, every time he's played, he's always impressed me. He should be Cucurella's competition right now. Cucurella should not feel safe in that left-back position while he's got that young gun behind him. Now, I know Lewis Hall is naturally a central midfielder, but he's deputising well in that left-back position. I also felt as well, Omari Hutchinson, a lot of us wanted to see him play. I thought he came on today and he looked confident. I thought his touches were good. I wanted to see him try and line up his man a little bit more, him versus Nathan Ake one-on-one, because Nathan Ake didn't really have too much support there behind him sometimes, so there was opportunities for Omari to really show his flair and really trickery and try and beat his man. But I guess it's his first appearance with the senior club and he really wants to get it right, but hopefully later on he can develop that confidence, quite similar to what we've seen with Zakaria, so he can start beating the players and showing a lot of the traits that he is rated for. Chukwuemeka, like I said again, I thought he chipped in pretty well, although I feel like the position he was asked to play wasn't really his natural role. But the good thing is in this Chelsea team is that you can alternate between the front 3 positions, just know when to do so. But can't be disappointed with that performance. In terms of the lineup, I thought Graham Potter was brave. Mason Mount wasn't in the squad because he did pick up an injury in training. It hasn't been anything to do with his previous form. I don't know why Jorginho wasn't picked, but I do know it was the right decision to not pick him. It was a more encouraging performance today. Like I said, although we held the loss, Mahrez with that goal, I've still got a lot to be proud of, a lot of positives. Zakaria, for me, excellent performance. Kovacic, decent performance for me. Ziyech, better performance from him today. No one really disappointed me like that in the first team today, which is a positive. We didn't get any points, but at least we're not sitting here screwing, been absolutely battered by Manchester City. It's a 1-0 loss at the end of the day. I just hope that this breeds some kind of belief amongst this squad, because we desperately from this point need to be picking up wins. We desperately need to be picking up wins, because soon, or if we're not already, we can find ourselves in the bottom half of the table and, you know, panic stations, man. Things can become toxic real quick. But fair play to the team today. I thought they done well. Fair play to Graham Potter. I thought he done well in his decisions. I thought he done the most that he could do today, honestly, except from that one substitution for Chukwuemeka coming on for Christian Pulisic. I thought decisions-wise he done well. I thought he set us up really well against Manchester City. We played the 4-3-3 as well, so it does go to show that he is really trying to stick with that 4-3-3 formation. But it's like we keep on saying, January is going to be key. Let's get deals over the line. If the Enzo news is true, not the greatest start, but I'm not going to say too much on Enzo or our brand new signing Benoit Badiashile, because I'm expecting you lot to watch it straight after this video. I do have it up for you lot, so make sure you click somewhere down here, so you watch the next video, people. But before you do that, please make sure you do these things for me. Smash that like button for me. Let's get to 15k. Yeah, so we can start the road to 20. Smash the like button, get us back up in the algorithms, and leave your thoughts down there in the comments. I always go through them. Sometimes I don't have the time to respond, but I promise you I do read the comments, and I do take a lot of what you lot say into consideration. So listen, people, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, please stay safe, and as always, up the Chelsea. Peace.